Hey everybody. Um, so I kind of lucked out tonight. I was able to attend an early screening of Godzilla Minus One, and I thought, I'll go ahead and give my initial reaction to it and everything, let you know how I feel. But I'm kind of riding this right now, so at a certain point after I've talked for a little bit, I'm gonna get into like deeper dive into the movie and spoilers and everything. So I'm gonna leave a cutoff there. Just a couple of seconds to let you know. But just forewarning, um, this first little section is gonna be just general opinions and trying to be kind of vague. But after towards the end, I'm going to get into spoilers. So you know you have been warned. But my initial reaction to this movie, it was an experience. It was amazing. I really loved it. You know, this is without a doubt one of the most incredible Godzilla films I've had the pleasure of seeing in theater, and I've seen quite a few through my luck, and uh, I'm just amazed. This was awesome. Um, of course, just general knowledge of the film. It's not like a continuation. It's a complete reboot. It takes place in the 50s and is a period piece. And I was slightly worried about that. There's always the possibility that something like that could be really dated and boring. No, this was insane. This was awesome. This was amazing. And I'm definitely gonna want to go see it again. Maybe another, maybe even twice more, maybe even three times. Who knows? Um, is it the greatest Godzilla film of all time? I wouldn't say that. There are other Godzilla movies I enjoy more, but a lot of that has to do with nostalgia and the fact that I like schlocky stuff. But this was a great film that I would take anybody to see it. You don't have to be a Godzilla fan to watch this movie. But yeah, go see it. It's more than worth the admission and help support making more of these movies happen. The more Toho knows what they're doing. They are beyond awesome. Anyway, so I've been rambling for like 3 minutes now. And I haven't really said anything too in depth. So I'm gonna, like pause it right here real quick. I'm gonna give everybody a little time to click away because I'm gonna get into spoilers. I'm gonna talk about the movie itself and what I thought of it, how I felt about it, because I really want to share that. So I'm gonna ramble for like 5 or 6 more seconds. And in this time, if you're not interested in hearing spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie yet, and you don't want anything spoiled for you, click away. Go on. So it's just us, the people who've seen the movie, or the people who have no intention of seeing it and just want to know what I think about it. In other words, assholes. Uh, anyway, this was so amazing. Okay, so this movie kind of had this weird start. Yes, it starts off literally at the end of World War II, with a kamikaze pilot named Koichi landing his plane at a little Odo Island airstrip. Of course, kamikaze pilot landing. You're like, the fuck? Well, yeah, it's exactly what you think. He, um, after just a moment of exposition, I'm talking to this really awesome mechanic named Tachibana. He faked engine trouble to not, basically kill himself in a suicide attack. Um, and the airstrip ends up being attacked by what has to be a Godzilla saur. Uh, kills everyone there. Koichi could have done something. They basically are like, get into your plane. As soon as it gets in front of the plane, fire the big guns. That'll kill it for sure. But he's too scared. He can't, do it. He doesn't pull the trigger, and everybody but him and Tachibana die. And that sort of sets off what the movie is about. Survivor's guilt and post-traumatic stress. I could be completely wrong. I could, be talking out of my asshole right now. But as the first movie was, the original Godzilla was about, the threat of nuclear war and nuclear weapons and, the long-lasting, devastating effects of such things. This movie is about, people coming back from terrible, horrible, violent tragedy, from them surviving war and stuff like that, and figuring out how to live after it. And Koichi comes back home to find his parents' home destroyed. Um, Firebombing took it out, and his parents died in the fire. The old auntie next door blames him for not doing his job, for not being a kamikaze and dying like he should have, and the reason her children are dead. And he's racked with guilt over the fact that all of these mechanics literally died because he wouldn't pull the trigger and attack and fire on this Godzilla sword. You know? And the really fucked thing is that Tachibana, after he, pulled all the dead together, took all of their family photos and gave them to Koichi's, like, these are the families of the men that you let die, these are the people they were going back home to, and they'll never see them again. And it's, admittedly, it's legitimate. Because Tachibana is also going through an insane amount of trauma. He saw all of his friends die because this asshole wouldn't do it. Now, is it possible that it wouldn't have done anything? Yes, but that's speculation. That's something that you can't say for certain. And human beings like to put definite things on things. You know, it's it's trauma. But yeah, and what ends up happening is um, he's trying just to survive. Doing what he can to get by, and runs into this young woman named Noriko, and she basically puts a baby in his arms and runs off. And at that point, I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be a story about a guy with PTSD raising a fucking baby." But no, she actually comes back. She's only handed him off so she could get away, and then she was waiting for him to, carry the baby off, and he only did that after waiting for like half a day, it seems like. And they end up basically moving in. The baby isn't even her baby; it's an orphan that she found. The mom was dying and was like, "Please take care of my baby." The hell, man. So yeah, apparently, Noriko's parents are also very much dead. So, they start living out. The auntie next door finds out, and she's like, "Well, I can't let the baby die, so I'm gonna give you all my rice that I was made, so you can make rice gruel to feed this baby who can't eat because that girl can't is not the mom. She's not, lactating. So, Anyway, it develops, and it's very wholesome. It's like Koichi's kind of, healing a little bit. And over this time, there's the bombing of the Bikini Atoll, and we see the Godzillas were exposed to radiation, and sort of a little bit of it becoming Godzilla. And what ends up happening is Richie finds a job that's well paying so that he can help take care of Norco and the baby. Basically, he's on a kind of like a little tugboat with a machine gun on it, and there's another boat that drags wires through the water to snag mines. And once it does, it clips the tether that's holding it in suspension. It bobs up, take the machine gun, rat-a-tat-tat, blows up the mine. You know, and eventually, of course, this is very dangerous work, but he's ex-military, he can handle it. Then Godzilla shows up. Basically, he's destroying ships and heading towards Tokyo. Well, the Americans can't do anything because of Soviet tensions. If they move battleships into that part of the Pacific, it could incite an incident. So basically, the Japanese government is going to have to do this. And one of the things they don't have a lot of is very heavily armed military because post-war after all. So basically, Koichi and his new friends on this little boat are sent to basically stall while a destroyer is deployed and gets from the China Sea, if I remember correctly. There, needless to say, things do not go exceptionally well. I mean, they do manage to lodge a mine in Godzilla's mouth and blow it up, and it's real nasty. But it's like heals, and you're like, and the destroyer does show up just in the nick of time to save them, but everybody on there is dead. And Godzilla makes his way to Tokyo, um, right into the specific part where Noriko has gotten a job because the baby is staying with the auntie next door, and she's doing work. Basically, Koichi ends up getting back to shore, grabbing her and trying to save her. I am skipping over a lot of this, but he's gotten to the point where he's thinking, is it okay that I pursue my life? Is it okay that I pursue happiness again? And then this creature comes back, and guess what? The first thing that happens, Godzilla destroys a good chunk of Tokyo, and using his super fucking awesome cool heat ray causes essentially a nuclear explosion. And Noriko gets blown the fuck away. I saw this and I was like, because basically she saw the explosion happen. She pushes Koichi between some buildings, and then like that bitch is dead. If she ain't atomized, she's at least about 10 or 12 miles away. And so, of course, Koichi's like, "Oh, no, it's not. It's not okay for me to, move on, pursue happiness. Um, I need to do what I need to do. I need to, you know, um, you know, he basically is riding the death wish train now, and basically, his buddies have put together a plan. Bunch of ex-military are coming in. The government is stretched really thin, and they're like, we don't really have an actual operational idea. But these private citizens have an idea. It's viable. We're going to support it by giving you materials to do this. And the operation is really simple. Basically, taking 4 ships, they're going to loop um, a string of canisters around Godzilla's waist over a very large trench um, in the ocean. These um, tanks will release Freon, which will immediately cause Godzilla to sink. And in case you are, and this is something you know, rapidly sinking over 1,500 meters, which is the rough depth of this trench, is really bad because that's incredible amounts of pressure being exposed to you at one time. Even deep sea animals don't dive that fast. You know, sperm whales don't do that. They move slow to the bottom to slowly adjust the pressure. And then if that doesn't work, giant in CO2 airbags or flotation devices will deploy, shooting Godzilla back up to the surface. And in case you don't know what happens if you go from extreme pressure to extreme no pressure, that's decompression. Because that's a massive amount of damage. The plan is to do this, and hopefully that'll kill Godzilla. And they're going to lure Godzilla by dragging this decoy around with a recording of his roar to try to guide him into the right area. Not a great plan because the boat's too slow and Godzilla does catch it and destroy it immediately. But luckily they had a backup because Koichi, being a pilot, can fly. And basically they have managed to cobble together and not really experimental. It's a fighter that the Japanese government was working on towards the end of World War II, designed to shoot down bombers, so it was exceptionally maneuverable and whatnot. Um, basically, Koichi's going to use this to harry Godzilla and bring him out to the sea and put him where they need to and distract him long enough for them to um, get this plan off. Of course, they need mechanics to repair it, which he reaches out to Tachibana and it's like, hey, you know how to fix these sorts of aircraft. I need you to repair this and make it viable. And also, I need you to take out a bunch of the fuel tanks and put in massive amounts of explosives because I plan to fly this into Godzilla's mouth and hopefully blow his head off. Because I saw that one of our mines was able to do serious damage. I think this will work. You know, because again, he's riding the I don't want to come back express. He leaves the little girl with the old auntie and all the money and everything. A little note that's saying, you know, take care of her. I got to do this. Um, and he's about to take off in the plane, and they get Tachibana's, you know, giving him the last little pep talk. You know, and so the plan's going off. Basically, things are going really well. They're able to distract Godzilla long enough. They get him to use his heat ray, which, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that the reason that Godzilla isn't using it constantly is because he's charring the hell out of his own face every time he does it. Like his, like all around here is like burnt to a crisp every time he uses it. So he uses it very sparingly. So they get him to fire off once and destroy two ships that were dummies. They were remotely piloted. Remotely, they had ropes holding the wheel to go straight. But they managed to tie him up, and the plan works perfectly. Straight to the bottom, and then coming up. Unfortunately, Godzilla just kind of tears open the bags and is kind of holding at like 800 meters. Um, he's trying to adjust to the pressure. Luckily, a bunch of tugboats come in piloted by one of the guys who they left behind because he was a little kid. And, you know, you're too young to do this. We want you to be the future, and, you know, this isn't your war. So he comes in with a bunch of tugboats. They are able to drag Godzilla to the surface. Unfortunately, he's still alive. Very badly injured just looking at him. He is definitely not happy and ready to use his atomic breath again. When, of course, Koichi comes in right into Godzilla's mouth, pulls the thing to activate the bombs, and kaboom! Godzilla loses the top of his head while charging up his heat ray, and ends up basically disintegrating almost, just like bursts into chunks, kind of like start singing. And so, success, Godzilla's dead. Um, and wouldn't you know it, Koichi's still alive because this particular model of plane had an ejection seat, which I saw coming. Because during Tachiban's little thing, after he tells him where to, you know, pull to activate the bomb, he tells him if he touches somewhere near the top of the cockpit, and I was like, "There's an ejection sheet. He's gonna be fine. No way this guy's gonna die." So they get back to shore, and the auntie comes with the little baby, and you're like, "Wait, what's going on?" She's like, hands him a note that got delivered to her by telegram. I did not see this coming because, like I said earlier, well, Norco's alive. Apparently, she survived the getting yeeted about 100 miles. Um, she wasn't in good shape, but she was in hospital. Apparently, she was alive, and so he's overcome his war. He's fought his battle, and you know he's able to be happy and move on. You know, be a family with these people that he's met. These people who have survived something terrible and came out of it okay. Admittedly, probably needs to talk to people or something like that. Yeah. And I will admit, I teared up at certain parts of this, especially when the little girl was like, "Where's mommy?" And him, you know, telling her when she's crying, "Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you," even though he was confident he was going to sacrifice himself to kill Godzilla. You know, I don't know. I'm getting old. Godzilla's 70, and I'm more than half of that. Oh man. Yeah. I know I just ran through the entire movie in about 20 minutes of mindless rambling. Again, I really hope that you're only watching this part because you're wanting to hear me analyze this. Because, yeah, this movie is about overcoming this trauma, overcoming this post-traumatic stress that he's going through, and dealing with it. This is an entirely different creature. It's a different movie than the original Godzilla, and it's based around basically the same idea. I mean, Godzilla himself is a set piece. He is a MacGuffin. He's an action. He's not a character. He's just a thing. And that's how most Godzilla movies are. Godzilla can be more characterized in some, but it's never about him solely. You know, about the people, about overcoming the impossible, and whether that impossibility is nuclear war or just the trauma in one's life, moving on. You know, some stuff, man. A lot of stuff. Anyway, I will say I love the effects as well. I don't actually know for a fact if it was all CG or if there was some, actual suit work or something. Some of the stuff where it was like just Godzilla swimming, I wouldn't be surprised if that was suit work. I don't know if there was a lot of suit work in the actual, main parts of the film. I'll have to look that up later. But it was a gorgeous film. It was very well done, and I just can't praise it enough. You know. But yeah, if anybody wants to talk about this more in the comments, feel free. Hopefully, I didn't, I gave enough of a spoiler warning to, stop y'all if y'all hadn't seen it yet. I mean, literally, see this movie. It is amazing. Anyway, guess that's pretty much all I really have to say right now. If anybody wants, like I said, comment if you want to talk about it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Bye.